Wednesday night, we're all in sight. 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight. Woo! Laughs and wisdom side by side. Heshy show won't be denied. Tune in live and ride the tide. Feel the rush and feel the pride. It's just enough Heshy. Wanna vote for Heshy? It's just enough Heshy. Join the crowd, it's messy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Just Enough Heshy show. Happy New Year to everybody. Tom, welcome back.
Welcome
Happy
back.
New Year to
Happy
you
New
as
Year,
well.
everybody. Yep, Happy New Year to
we
out
have
there.
a great show today.
I'm really excited about tonight.
We have this wonderful guy and on the show, Assemblyman
Brown. Yep,
yes.
he's out in the Five Towns.
By the way, he doesn't know who I am, but my nephews know who he is. He's attached to my family over there.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about your friend, what's his name?
Babalu?
Babadani.
That's my next door neighbor for 20
Really,
years.
I should call him de Blasio because all the people he's hiring.
Oh, my God.
He's a de Blasio 2.0. That's
I
what
was
I
going
put
to
it.
say.
Yeah.
It's why I said last week on the show, you may miss Eric Adams.
I'm never going to miss
may-
Eric Adams, the biggest corruption on the
You
planet.
just wait until this man takes power in a few hours. You're going to wait.
I know that. And you know what? He's making he's swearing himself in on the Quran. The first mayor ever in a couple of hundred
Well,
years.
we talked last week on the show about his FDNY commissioner, and that's another whole
Oh,
thing.
and now his school commissioner. And
Oh, my
everybody
God,
he's
I read that.
hiring are failures from the de Blasio. We're going to talk to the Assemblyman.
Yep.
And also, do you know that I was reading that CNN was saying that New York City is the safest city per capita in the world? I mean, let's go to Long Island. We're going to have an Assemblyman on the show that his community, I want to move there, but I can't because I'm a New Yorker forever.
Well, Long Island's New York. It's,
Well, we're
it's
gonna
actually
see
it's a part of, it's an island.
they
We're
have
a part of it.
They have a
Remember-
couple open Congress seats. I'm going to beg the Assemblyman to maybe give it to me. But you know where I was tonight? I went to a speaking event for special needs kids. And they told me they will support me for the assembly seat. I
Hey.
should run for it, and that they will help me raise the money. And it was my first speaking event. But again, we still haven't officially announced
No.
it. But we've unofficially announced it. We're going to talk about Mamdani. We're going to talk about about Mr. Trump, and of course the National Guard. I want to talk about that you hate Trump's economy, which I was reading reports, the billions, and we're going to talk to the Assemblyman about it.
Well, the Assemblyman, that's who you want to talk to about it because he's
Because
the
he
one in
knows
office.
better than all of us.
Well, we'll find
And
out.
you're going to see how good, and Long Island is doing wonderful. And
It
you know
is.
what? I was watching he has a friend who's running for governor by the name of Bruce Blakeman.
Talked about him for 2 months, by the way.
I know
Talked about
that.
him for 2
And
months.
I watched Bruce on TV this week, and he was telling them that he wants to make New York State just like Long Island. And when he run that place, how he makes it safer, more profitable. He has not raised taxes in 4 years. Wow. Wow. I mean, that's like impossible stuff.
Well, he's certainly done that.
and Ari's part of his team because you know
He is absolutely a part of his team.
Ari's. I'm going to ask him because I'm not sure. Did you know that he is? He's a deputy mayor.
Yes, he is. But on top of that, we're now on the radio over on the Talkline Radio Network. Welcome everybody to this week's show, the last one of 2025, the Just Enough Heshy Show here. Thank you for joining us on WJPR 1640 AM in beautiful Miami, Florida. Right here, it's actually just as cold as it is right now, almost. Also, WNEW 1027 FM, the legendary ex-rock and roll radio station, and our flagship station, WSNR 620 AM. Welcome to everybody's very, very final show of the 2025 Just Enough Heshy season with myself, Tom, and Heshy.
I want to welcome our YouTube and Facebook and Instagram fans,
Yes.
even though I can't really do the Instagram, but it'll be on the rerun.
Right.
And I want to thank everybody to come in today's show, guys. We have a guest,
Great guest.
a great guest, Assemblyman Ari Brown. He served for 2 decades on the Board of Trustees in the village of Cedarhurst.
Yes.
He's also a deputy mayor.
Well, Cedarhurst is actually special to me because my dad, for almost 7 years, was a driving instructor on Sundays out there in Cedarhurst.
My family, my sister-in-law who lost her husband, and my nephews and nieces live there. I have a lot of friends there.
Yes.
And I found my last son's wife over there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I see.
But not the producers, though.
Not the producers I found over here in Brooklyn.
Oh, beautiful Brooklyn.
But the other one I found in Baltimore. We're going to start our show in a minute, introduce you. But I've got to give you, first I got to do my shout outs to Sergeant Peter. I love you. You always, and Ellie, and my granddaughter, Mira Nava.
Favorite part of the show.
Layla Tamar, Binyamin Hillel, Ahuva, who I took to the doctor. She's so cool, this little baby. And Yeshua and Yael Maria, my last granddaughter. And of course, most importantly, to my beautiful, delicious wife. And thank you so much.
And I also got a butt in because I got to wish my mom a happy birthday for Friday.
Wow, I
Friday,
like that.
My mom listened to the show.
And my brother's birthday was yesterday. He's the
What a small world.
I was born the first of the year, and he was born the second to the last day of the year. So we're the same age for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, I want to give you a quote.
All right.
And this quote, I pretty much wrote it because of our guest, Assemblyman Brown.
Yes.
Abraham Lincoln said, "The best way to predict the future is to create it. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. The future demands that what we do is do it in the present." And Mr. Assemblyman Ari Brown does stuff now. He gets stuff done.
He absolutely has.
I've read the stuff he does. The man is a full-time worker. I'm very in awe of him because of all the things that I do. He does 10 times more, and I'm very proud of him.
Yes, we are.
I'm going to give you a quick joke, Ari. Nobody laughs at my joke. I'm hoping at least you do because you're a guest. So here it goes, Ari. Can you hear us? No.
Well, we're going to bring him on in a minute. You're going to do your joke, and then we're going to bring him on.
Okay, here's my joke. I hope the producer laughs at it.
He is. He's
okay,
laughing.
Here we go. Years ago, I was looking over one of my granddaughters. You know what I mean? Well, like 2 years ago when she was 4 years old.
Okay, I think I remember that.
She's 6 now. And we were sitting there watching the news, and a guy came on wearing an eye patch. And right away, Mira says to me, "Look, Grandpa, look, Big H." She says, "That's a pirate." So I wanted to correct her in case she sees somebody else on the streets. He doesn't scream, "People with an eye patch are pirates." I said, "No." So I said, "No, he just got hurt in his eye." So she thought about it for a moment. She says, "Yes, probably he got hurt fighting other pirates." I was listening to a bunch of guys talking, and somebody said, and he said he heard a joke. He says, "God promised men that they will get good, obedient wives in all 4 corners of the world." That's why God created the world round. Anyways, that was foolish.
Yes.
I want you to know, Ari, are you with us?
We're going to bring on the Assemblyman now onto the screen, and we're also getting some hellos from the chat. Daniel Sweet wants to say hello.
Hello, Danny.
Tiger 17.
Welcome back, Danny, from his trip. Yeah.
Tiger 1796 is saying that Ben Chow, who ran against Vicky Palladino, would have been a better pick for fire commissioner. Rachel Bartlett is here to say hello, and also Black Beauty. So
hello,
we have
guys.
quite a shout.
Ari, you are? Can you hear? Is Ari on the line?
Yes, he's here.
Ari,
He's here
I
with
see
us.
you, Ari. I'm waving to you. You're such a handsome-looking guy.
Right. Trying to be half as good looking as you guys. Thanks for having
Ari,
me.
you just got $2 out of me. Ari, you served 2 decades on the Board of Trustees in the village of Cedarhurst. You are the deputy mayor. You are the assemblyman. I mean, may I ask you one stupid question? Why? Why are you putting yourself through such crazy? I know people. I'm just an independent guy, and I run for office, and I get calls from 6 in the morning to late night. They must torture you.
Not at all. I have to tell you something. I'm one of the longest serving state elected officials. I've been in office 28 years in different capacities. I have to tell you, nothing but wonderful constituents. I'm the ranking member in the state of the local governments committee. So I always say there's nothing better than local government. You know, big government never works well, except under President Trump. Local government works extremely well. Village of Cedarhurst, you know, we're the preeminent shopping district of the South Shore, Long Island, 200 and some odd stores, 0 vacancies. You know, at my tax grievance night, no one ever shows up. I have the lowest taxes in the state, far and away. you do it right. You work hard for your constituents. People don't complain.
Can I ask you about your police officers? Because we have a big problem with anti-Semitism, as well as some of our police officers and building inspectors. And I mean, they just come after us left and right. I fight them every day. I even had to have an inspector arrested. And I have to whip out my Constitution from my pocket because they do illegal stuff. They trick people coming in. How are your police and your DOB? Are they more compliant? Do we have them under control? Do they work for the people, or do they work for the government against the people? Like in New York City, they really come after us. I want to tell you this, and I'm very upset. I had a lady taking care of a very nice woman. Her daughter's dying in the hospital. And she sits there day and night. And I always tell people that. If you don't sit with your parent or your son or your daughter, they're going to kill her. You got to be there 24/7. And we got her permission to sit there. One Shabbos, a couple weeks ago, they threw her out of the hospital. And she got angry and she sat there and she wouldn't leave. And this lady, nurse, called the police. The police arrested her on Shabbos. That's the Sabbath. And we took her out of the jail on Shabbos. And she went back there and they apologized to us. And today we went to fight her criminal ticket, which was dismissed. They actually issued her a trespassing ticket. Now, there's no way that, forget what you've seen on the streets when the Palestinians came into Borough Park, when they attacked me during COVID, when de Blasio shut us down. But I've been to Long Island. And I'm pretty happy there. But do they work with us, or do they just want to fine you all the time?
No, it doesn't get better than Long Island. I'm born and bred Long Islander. Actually, I grew up in Franklin Square. My backyard neighbor was Sean Hannity. Sean lived in the house.
Wow. Okay.
Right behind me. Half Italian. My mother is Italian Jew. Wonderful neighborhood. And look, we have County Executive Bruce Blakeman. We're the safest county on Long Island. Our police commissioner, Patty Ryder, it doesn't get better than that. My police officers are like brothers. They care about the community. My auxiliary police, head of all of auxiliary police in Nassau County, headed by Danny Gluck, doesn't get better. I mean, we don't even have to ask. Building department, absolutely wonderful. Not just because my son runs the building department.
Well, that's very good, because by us, anybody filing for permits or plans, you're looking at 6 months to a year. You're looking at stop work order. These inspectors and chiefs just keep us suffering for months at a time with no love. Then they keep issuing violation after violation, and even for minor infractions, they give us $5,000-$10,000 fines. Sometimes my plans are cheaper than their fines that they're getting while we're trying to even get them in compliant. But I have a question for you. I know that you like Bruce Blakeman, but he's running for governor, okay? Do you think he has a chance?
Listen, in life, you never know. The effort will be there. It all depends on a few things. And everything you've mentioned comes down to the same answer. You talked about the building department, you talked about crime, and you talked about Bruce getting elected. It's all the same issue. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. I'm the only yarmulke-wearing Republican in state elected history.
I was going to ask you about that. 1 minute. I want to ask you, Harry. Are you not embarrassed to walk into the assembly with your yarmulke?
Embarrassed? Why would I be embarrassed?
Good. They don't say nothing to you.
I get nothing but respect.
Good.
Not because I'm one of the oldest state legislators, but because they respect what me wearing a yarmulke. Nearly 30 years ago, I was the first elected on Long Island to wear a yarmulke in office. And I would say to my frum colleagues, why are you embarrassed to put your yarmulke on? I didn't even grow up religious, and I wear my yarmulke. I'll tell you what the answer is to your building department issue, to all the issues that you're saying. That I have 9 bills on anti-Semitism. Ask yourself, why do I not have one frum colleague on the other side of the aisle stand with me at any press conference or sign on as a co-sponsor to any of my bills? Because you know what the answer is? Well, they're afraid they're going to take away their money for the Chalamayim
I'm glad
project.
that you said that, Assemblyman. I have been saying this for months on this show. The likes of Sam Websberger, Aaron Weeder, Kalman Yeager, Simca Eichenstein, Sam Sutton, they don't stand up for the community. A great point, Assemblyman.
They do stand up for their community, but for the little issues. They don't look at the big picture. If these kids would come to my side of the aisle, we'd get rid of the supermajority, and there'd be real change in the state of New York. But they care about pennies, and that has to do with what you asked me. Jews only care about the short plan, building department issues. I can tell you 100% of the time, it's the fault of the applicant. I've been in the construction business. This is my 52nd year. I have the first home improvement license in Nassau County, the very first. I worked with my dad for over 40 years. It's the applicant. It's the gamesmanship. Well, it's really a sun porch. It's not a real room. Let me build in the middle of the night on the weekend when the building department's not there. No one's been, I said it, I have the very first home improvement license in the county. It's the gamesmanship.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I don't agree sometimes with the DOB's determinations on what we're allowed to build, but it is the applicant's responsibility, because I do have an architect, is to come up with ideas how to legalize, to make space and be habitable. But once we have it, sometimes the inspectors for no reason shut us down, violate us for no reason. But I got you. But I've seen more construction and faster permits and faster approvals and faster stop work orders done in Long Island in your area than, I'm telling you, it's a shame what goes on in New York City. But I'm very proud of
it. If you focus on this, guys, there's a difference between, my constituents are more Democrat than Republican. Yet, even me, who just got the 100% rating from the Conservative Party on voting, I was voted the second most partisan legislator, yet I overwhelmingly, by a landslide, beat my opponents every single time. There's a reason for it. We're Long Islanders and suburbanites first. We don't want Brooklyn people in our area. We don't want people from Queens.
That means you, Heshy, with the 20-minute questions. You talked about Bruce Blakeman, and Bruce Blakeman obviously running for governor. He got reelected in a year where Republican candidates across the board in the state got beaten. Bruce Blakeman found a way to get reelected and get reelected in a landslide. What do you think will be the key for him in this governor race coming up?
Exactly what we're trying to talk about in this conversation: voter turnout, and not to have these, what I'd like to call Rishayim, like the Satma, coming out and doing the wrong thing and voting the wrong way for a short deal, a quick deal. If the Jews do the right thing and the upstaters come out and Staten Island does what they're supposed to do, listen, Long Island will deliver. There's no better chairman than Chairman Joe Cairo. There's no better machine than throughout in the country, and this is according to President Trump, than the Nassau County Republican Party. We'll do the right thing. We need all the Jews and everybody else throughout the state to do the right thing and actually come out and vote. There's a great deal of voter apathy because of the failures of the party chairman in all your other counties. Failures. Sometimes you guys don't even one candidate.
Assemblyman, our chairman, and I like him, Liam, but they actually give to Wilson Pakula and they support the Democratic nominees in our community. And forget the 5 boroughs. They're giving the Democrats the Republican line against, even if we have a Republican running, they give the Democrat the line. And I'm hoping that in Long Island, I've never seen that before. Do you ever give the Wilson Pakula out to the Democrat?
The only time there's cross endorsement is when it comes to judges, and I understand the rationale behind it. That will never happen on any other candidacy. Never. It will never happen. You guys, I don't know a single one except, well, I know one of your chairmen in the city. The rest are total no-shows, and they got to step up and do the right thing and put the effort. Everybody wants the badge, but you got to do the work.
Assemblyman, our question to you is simple now. Tonight we're going to be sworn in a Mayor Mamdani. I hate him. I think he's one of your people from the assembly. They invited him to one of our Kojo breakfasts, this anti-Semite, packed with Jews, including Schumer, that idiot, and he came there. Now, this guy is going to be mayor. There's nothing we can do to stop it. Can he affect you in any way? Does Long Island get affected by what the damage he's going to cause to New York City? Is there a way that, I don't know, are you going to be affected in any way?
Sure, we'll get better voter turnout, and on Long Island, we will win by overwhelmingly larger landslides in the next election because of that. Again, we're suburbanites. We don't like people from the city. So when this happens, we just get stronger and stronger, and you saw how all of our elected officials did in the last election. Mamdani.
One of the things, Assemblyman, that's coming up here is the budget in the state. Obviously, you have a role in that. You're the ranking member of local governments. With the role that you have in the minority in the state assembly, what will be some of the things you'll try to fight for this side of the aisle in the budget coming up here?
Obviously, no more funding to the illegals. And I'm assuming, based on what President Trump said, that he's going to pull a lot of funding away from the state if all this crap keeps happening, especially continuing with Zorhan Mamdani. So, to spend $10 billion on illegal aliens, and, they don't like when they want us to call them undocumented. They're illegal aliens. That's the first order of business. Now, you're going to see this budget.
Assemblyman, that we have a hospital in Borough Park called Maimonides Hospital, that our families, our parents and grandparents, well, I'm older than you, our parents and grandparents helped build this private hospital. And of course, we had a couple of tough guys in our neighborhood like Louis Shiner, Assemblyman now, Kalman Yeager, David Greenfeld, and all these people, Leon Goldenberg, a developer, all trying to take over the building instead of making a deal. And instead, they didn't let me in, or they didn't let a lot of us help them, and they lost the fight. And now Zorhan Mamdani put Mitch Katz, who came into Borough Park during COVID to shut us down, and I single-handedly stopped Mitch Katz from closing our parks, from closing our schools, single-handedly, and keeping 104 wedding halls open. Now Zorhan Mamdani put him in charge, oh my God, of the hospitals. We lost one of our best hospitals. I'm hoping that the Assembly, I mean, you have a they have a $228 billion budget, and still you're raising our state, not you, Assemblyman, but you're going to be raising our property taxes again. You're going to be raising so many of our taxes. Can't you somehow stop them? Because I'm just like taxed to the hilt, and with Mamdani going to be taxing us another, the millionaire or billionaire thing, can't you cut that budget down? Hochul's giving assisted suicide money. She gave abortions, what was it, $35 million to out-of-staters, not even people in our communities. I mean, we can't stop this, Assemblyman?
Yeah, well, you're not going to stop it. And you're going to see her go further to the left, because the stronger Bruce gets, and you're going to see something like you never saw before, the more she has to move to the left. You have to understand the dynamics of state legislature. They're basically all children on the other side of the aisle who've never, ever worked a day in their lives. And what happens is they're all like little girls. The speaker is so afraid of the DSA. I have colleagues who are so far to the left, like it's not enough to abort the baby. You got to abort them, put them back in the mother, and abort them again. And maybe you can consider that liberal. Those people are being primaried. I think it's like 65% of my colleagues are being primaried because they're not liberal enough by the Democrat Socialists of America. You're going to see it's going to come to the point in next week where they're going to have to vote in the speaker, Carl Hesty. They're going to put up a DSA, and he's going to come to us asking for some on our aisle to help vote him in, just to temper the way. So Kathy Hochul is only going to go to the left. She's going to try to push for this universal child care thing, spend money like there's no tomorrow, throw money at Zorhan. She's afraid. The polls look pretty bad.
And if you're here right now, we're with Assemblyman Ari Brown, who represents the 20th district, which is in the Five Towns area. Ari was first elected in 2022. He is now serving a portion of a third term right now. He'll be running for election later this year in 2026. We're on the Just Enough Heshy show with Tom and Heshy. If you're here in the chat, let us know your questions and we'll get them to the Assemblyman.
Assemblyman, I'm upset one thing, and I hold you responsible as well. You're in the Assembly, and you're a religious Jewish man. And I'm not asking you to give me your personal views and push it on the world. I'm not asking you to push your religious beliefs on other people. But assisted suicide? How did you guys allow that? I mean, it's against the Christian Bible, the Jewish Bible, the Quran. I mean, 95% of the world is not accepted. And we allow that here, assisted suicide. What's it called, euthanasia? How do we allow that? I know there's suffering. I got it. But we can't allow it.
Right. So if you look at the voting record, I certainly voted against it. And all of my colleagues on my side of the aisle. You have to understand, there's a reason why they don't focus the camera on us, except when we're debating, because the Democrats aren't even sitting. I don't think I've ever seen Zorhan sit in a seat. Someone else presses the yes button for them. Sometimes I have to say to my frum colleagues on the other side of the aisle, guys, you're about to vote for a transgender thing. Oh, maybe you should come in and press the button instead of letting the majority leader do that for you. So that's what happens. My side of the aisle voted against that and voted against all of those type of bills. But this is the problem.
By the way, Assemblyman, I don't like that somebody doesn't. I mean, like, I was very upset with Simcha Felder not showing up half the time to vote upstate in the state Senate. And now we hear Ina Vernikova, our city councilwoman, lives down in Miami 8 months out of the year, and people are voting for her. How is that allowed that somebody else can go and vote for you? Isn't it supposed to be like a roll call, and that if you don't show up a certain amount of times, you lose your positions? Shouldn't that be something of that nature?
So what they do is they do this little trick. They swipe in at 9 o'clock in the morning, so they're on the record, and someone else presses the button for them. That's what happens. So they have to officially swipe in. Again, my side of the aisle, we all sit in our seats. We sometimes will do what's called a slow roll call, which forces them to come down to the floor. Sometimes the speaker has to pull the bill because his people aren't there. You're right. Listen, I'll say it before, I'll say it again. If the Jews would just do the right thing, there'd be a major shift in New York City politics. But when 35% vote in the primary for Zorhan Mamdani, this is what you're going to get. We can only blame our own people. No other group does this. The bleeding heart Jew, it has to stop already. I don't understand it. My family's been on Long Island for 200 years. I don't understand Jews from Brooklyn and Queens. I really don't. You know,
I've been talking about that for quite a while on the show.
I've been talking about that too, and we don't know what to do about it. For the little, like you said, for the little gifts they get, these big boys, everybody else has to follow.
Assemblyman, I gotta plug a show you have on here on the Talkline Radio Network. You have a show also, which I think you should plug for our listeners, alongside former Congressman Desposito. You want to plug the show for our audience?
Sure. It's the Anthony and Ari Unfiltered Show. Anthony just got his position as Inspector General from the President of the Department of Labor. Anthony, decorated detective, New York City detective. He's shaking it up there like there's no tomorrow. No better partner I could have or friend than Congressman Anthony Desposito. I'd like to thank Zeb Brenner for, asking us to do that show. By the way, my district is from Inwood to Point Long Beach, Oceanside. I have the South Shore of Long Island. It's not just the 5 towns. It's a very large area, that all the barrier islands, Atlantic Beach, East Rockaway, again, Lawrence, Cedarhurst, Inwood, and all of that as well. A great mix of community.
I have a whole group called the South Shore Republicans, and they all follow me on Facebook, and I enjoy working with them. I want to ask you a question, because me and Tom fight about it all the time. He says the economy is doing bad. I believe the economy is doing great under Trump. Inflation is almost at its lowest at 2%. Billions of dollars are coming in of new business, plus the way Trump is doing it, he's preparing for the future sales. And I see Long Island when I drive around there, new buildings, new construction. Here we're halfway stuck half the time. What do you believe? Is the economy doing better? Is Trump doing a good job? Or is CNN right and Trump is just what's the wording they used? A complete, I forgot, you should see what they wrote about Trump.
That's your problem. You're watching CNN, but Assemblyman, what is your thoughts on the economy right now?
The two of us are old grandfathers. I have 5 grandchildren. Our perspective is different than yours. You're in what Sinatra would sing as you call it the gay and impatient years. You're seeing it in short term. Yes, the economy is doing great, and we're going to see that very soon when people file their tax returns. You're going to see a major shift in the next few months where the economy will move even faster. Prices will drop. I think you'll see gas prices in the lower 2s. Food prices will drop even further. Listen, the other countries are not going to be able to withstand these tariffs any longer. And it's taking a huge impact on Europe and, wherever else we're getting, South America and places like that where we're getting our products. The economy is doing great, but now we're going to start seeing it in action. Interest rates are going to drop even further. Housing starts are what determine any movement in the economy. You're going to see, though, the 5 towns is not a good example. There's always major building going on. You'll see this throughout the nation of greater housing starts throughout the nation because interest rates are going to go up. Energy prices are going to go down.
Well,
sure.
I want to ask a question. Crime here, even though everybody thinks whatever, you keep hearing crime is going down. Every year, every week, we hear crime is getting better, which is not true. I see the numbers, I see the rapes, I see the felonies, I see the people getting arrested, and I even see the fake arrests they're making to push the numbers up, like this trespassing things. And like yesterday, there was a guy arrested because he took off his plates off the car because his back plate cover broke. So he took it off and he put it in his back window and it fell down. And some policemen came by and started to tow the car. He came screaming and running, and they arrested him. They said, well, once you take the plates off the car, you can't leave it on the street. And they actually arrested him. We got him out of jail right away. This is the stupidity that our crime is. Do you think Trump's idea of putting the National Guard in crime-ridden cities is correct, even though now they're fighting him and he's pulling them out?
You asked two different questions. So in New York City, they're underreported. We know that, just to keep the statistics low. In Nassau County, the crime is extremely low because of Bruce Blakeman and our Commissioner Patty Ryder. But about the National Guard, I was just in Washington twice. I was there for the President's Hanukkah thing, and my Assembly colleagues and I met with RFK Jr. and Linda McMahon, the Secretary of Education, recently in the last few weeks. When you go to Washington now, oh my God, it is immaculate. The transformation in a month's time, what President Trump did, is something like you cannot even imagine. I don't even recognize Washington, D.C. It's like how it was 40, 50 years ago when I was a kid over there. So yes, bring it into New York. Crush Chicago.
Assemblyman, what are your goals for this coming year for your constituents, and some of the goals that you have that you want to do for your district here?
You know what it is? I work for my constituents, but I also work to get other fellow Republicans in office, because without getting rid of the supermajority in the Senate and the Assembly, we get a lot done because we pressure and embarrass them into it, but it makes it that much more difficult. Bad budgets get passed. I'm always there for my constituents, and my constituents are there for me. I fight the fight on the taxes for them, crime and safety, but we deliver. You can see that on Long Island. That's why our constituents are happy. We have to look at the bigger picture. We have to convince.
You support me, because I'm going to be running for the Assembly in the 41st District. I want to go a little bit.
Wait. Whose seat is that?
Kalman Yeager's seat.
Well, it wasn't Kalman Yeager. What was the name of that bad lady?
I gotta tell you something.
It was Helene Weinstein, and Yeager got
elected
elected 2 years ago.
Wasn't elected. He was given the seat.
Right. Well, we're aware.
I'm disappointed with Mr. Yeager because I know him for many years, and I don't like.
Kalman's a great guy, and he does a great job.
Don't get upset with me, Assemblyman. When you are in a position of power like you represent us, but we have to look up to you with respect, and in return, you have to carry yourself in a certain way. Whether you get divorced or not makes no difference to me, but if you're going to do things that embarrasses us or teaches the young kids today that you do bad things and get away with it, to me, that's not acceptable. A rabbi, a teacher, a politician should not be running around with women, should not be doing bad things, should not be seen in bad places. If you don't want to be an assemblyman, a congressman, or a mayor, then you can do whatever you want. And these things bother me, that we have to force our politicians to stand the right way, and still they do bad things, and we all know it. But again, they give their little bribes or favors to their people. So yes, I will be running against Kalman Yeager.
But guys, I have to tell you this, and I have to say what's right is right. Kalman's a good guy. I don't know anything about what you're talking about. He votes the right way 99% of the time with conservative values. He's one of the few.
When he was in New York City, he waited till the last minute to vote for our tax increases to stop, and we got raised 18%, which he could have stood there and filibustered the vote. He allowed Maimonides to close streets on the street. I got you. I know he votes with you. But if he doesn't stand there to filibuster, to fight, to submit legislation, to fight the opposition, that is not acceptable.
I have to tell you. He's the only Democrat to actually do exactly that. He'll stand up against his colleagues on debate. I got to give it to him. I don't know about this other stuff you're talking about, but maybe he had a big mea culpa moment in the Assembly. He does the right thing. I got to tell you that.
We'll keep watching.
What is your thoughts, Assemblyman, on the situation right now going on with Iran? What is your thoughts on that?
We shall see. Let him try to start up again. President Trump will squash him before it starts. It's not like a Barack Obama giving them cash in the middle of the night moment.
Do you believe that Mamdani will even cause? I mean, Netanyahu is here in the United States now in Florida. Do you think if Netanyahu comes to New York that Mamdani can even touch him?
No. First of all, New York State, New York City, and New York State only abides by United States law. There's no such thing as international law in New York. That's not like a thing, So he can say it all he wants. Let him try it. That also will be over before it starts. Let's see how long Mamdani's going to last. I think he's going to do, play to the audience for a little while. But you know what? I made a list tonight of all of his transition team: Fad Ahmed, Tamika Mallory, Rusha Benjamin, Lisa Oda, Mohammed Chowdhury, Zakia Shakira. Every turban-wrapped head guy who looks to destroy our country, kind of this list, who anti-Israel, is comparing Zionists to Nazis, signed statements against Israel, people standing with Louis Farrakhan, anything and everything to destroy the Judeo-Christian ethic, to speak out against Israel. That's exactly what he picked. And then he picks this woman, Abir Kawas. She just arrived here in America. Everything to kill the Jews in 20,000 different ways. These are his friends.
It's very troubling, and it goes back to some things that you've tried in the assembly, which you had mentioned earlier about the different anti-Semitism bills that you've brought to the floor, but yet we haven't got it passed. I mean, you talked about some of your colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Do you think that there's a stronger possibility that maybe this time when you introduce something that maybe they'll at least want to take the bill up?
No, you know why? Because I have no faith that my Jewish colleagues will do the right thing and stand with me. If they would and pressure the speaker, it would come to that. But they don't. They don't. It's always about the pennies. It's so foolish. Why did Jewish people vote the wrong way? I have no idea.
Assemblyman, we have in New York City, I know your budget is, what is the state budget? 228, 218?
254, I think.
I remember in 2008, you'll laugh. I remember in 2008, there was an article in the New York Post, Assemblyman, and I actually still have it in my room, that they wrote that at the time when Patterson had taken over, the budget was $125 billion. And at that time, it was too much. But you think about it, in just a span of less than 20 years, it's more than double that. So think about that, right? Less than 20 years ago, when Patterson was in there, we went through the whole thing with Spitzer, and they cried then that the budget we spent too much, and that was with, at the time, a Republican Senate majority. Now it's gotten out of hand. It's almost like the inmates run the asylum when it comes to the budget.
You're absolutely right, because you literally have children. They are children on the other side. It gets even worse. If you'd ever come to State Assembly, and I invite you to do it, you have these kids in their 20s and 30s sitting there, never had a job a day in their life. Mamdani's never worked a day in his life. And their advisors are these 18, 20-year-old, young 20-year-old pishas with shaven purple hair. You don't know if they're a man or a woman, giving them advice, making decisions for the state. It's really corrupt. The corruption drips off the walls there. You're absolutely right.
I've been arguing that for a long time, telling everybody, again, our budget in New York City is $118 billion this year alone. And Mr. Mamdani, Mayor-elect or Mayor Mamdani tonight, is going to create free bus service and free groceries that we're going to have to raise. No, but I'm going to ask the Assemblyman. You're the man in budgets. You're the man who sees this. Is it possible? I mean, maybe me and Tom are crazy and half from New York City, that this Mr. Mamdani will be, and he put in some guy who used to be in the DOT back to run the DOT, that's going to create, who couldn't run the DOT right the first time, and he's going to now get us $1.7 billion in free buses, trains, and food. Do you think it's even possible? And remember, you people in the assembly, in the state, give our MTA billions of dollars.
And they flush it down the toilet. You're absolutely right. Will he get some of it done? I'm sure he will. But again, we have to keep circling back to who our audience is so they can understand. You know why it's never going to be looked at the wrong way? You know why the blame is going to be shifted to the other side of the aisle? Because of the Jewish people who consistently vote the wrong way. How could a Jew possibly be a Democrat today after the whole COVID scam, after October 7th? After everything we're seeing, after we have a guy who's supporting the Intifada, I mean, to globalize the Intifada and the Jews still vote for them, until that changes. You know, I'm a little bit older than you guys, or maybe I'm the same age as you guys. I'm not really sure. But, you know, when I was a kid, you had real rabbis. I wasn't religious. You had Rav Moshe Feinstein, Rav Aaron Cutler, Rav Soloveitchik. You had real giants. Who do you have today? Well, Lubavitcher Rebbe died, and half those guys are completely lost souls. So you have all these people floundering. There's no leadership in that regard. How is it possible that I'm the only yarmulke-wearing Republican in history? That's shameful to my colleagues and everybody else in the city who doesn't run as a Republican. Shameful.
You know, you talked about earlier in the show about the strength of the Nassau County and the Suffolk County Republican parties. We know that in Nassau County, every countywide seat Republicans held. The county legislature is held by Republicans. Your area went from Democrat to Republican in the last half a dozen years. What can we do here in New York City that we can replicate some of the things that you've done outside of Staten Island? I got that Staten Island has mostly elected Republicans, but in the other four boroughs, and especially here in Brooklyn, what can we do better that you seem to, as Assemblyman, have done where you are on Long Island?
Very simple. Get party chairmen that actually do the work. Because if you're not going to get out the vote, nothing is going to happen. Nothing. You guys aren't getting out the vote. It's shameful. We have Chairman Joe Cairo that's recognized internationally. The president picks up the phone and speaks to him and says, Chairman, Joe, how do you do this? We get out the vote in force. Thousands of people knocking on doors. I mean, it's a machine like no other. I don't know any of your chairmen.
You keep electing the state chairman. What's his name?
That's Cox, but they have their chair. What he's explaining is
the local chairs,
right?
But your main chair doesn't even sit down with us
our
local
chairman
guys
is an
and tell us what
figure.
to do.
Right. So I believe that Chris Tague, Assemblyman Chris Tague, should have been our Republican chair. The party felt differently. You know what? I think it's time for new leadership at the top also, but that's not where the problem is. The problem is in Queens and in Brooklyn, you have no chair people. Who are they? I have no idea.
I always say that the problem to me is that in New York City, because of the Board of Elections, where the Republicans, they get automatic picks and they get to select the commissioners, that they get that patronage, whereas they don't have to fight for city council seats. They don't have to fight for assembly seats. Whereas you on Long Island, you're, like you said, you're fighting for everything. You have the ability to elect a county committee. You have your district leaders. You have your town wards and whatever it is, and you're able to build that ground, that bench. Whereas I think the problem from my experience in 19 years in politics is that in Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx and Manhattan is that because they have patronage power with the Board of Elections, that they don't really have to do anything. They don't have to go out there and work to find candidates because all they have to do is appoint a handful of people and they're done. They don't even hold Lincoln Day dinners. You know, where you are in Nassau County, you guys raise between $1 and $2 million a year, whereas in places like Brooklyn and Queens, they don't have an office. They don't have a ground game, like you said. So there has to be something that I would hope that the Bruce Blakeman campaign, when he runs obviously here and comes out to the city, maybe can instill upon these county leaders that they need to do better upon.
Guys, hold on to your seat. You're so misinformed. Our chairman Cairo spent $13 million on the last election, not $1 or $2 million, $13 million. We are a machine. If we don't know the answer to a problem, what do? We look towards the Bible. The Bible tells you have to get a judge and a king who doesn't need the money. If you're making someone a king, he's got to be rich and wealthy. If he's not, make him that. Same thing with a judge. They can't be influenced by the money. That's why Bruce Blakeman is the perfect candidate for governor. He's not doing this for notoriety. He's not doing this for the money. He's not doing this to give out patronage jobs. He's doing this because he's the son of two World War II veterans. His mother and father were both veterans. His father served in the assembly in the 1960s. His brother served with President Bush. Bruce Blakeman is a hero who wants to serve and save our country. We need people like that. We have to stop, voting for the guy who sits next to you in shul or wherever it is. Enough already. That's doing the right thing. No, that's exactly the problem.
Yeah, no. And what do you think, though, about who he should pick for lieutenant governor? I think obviously now with him as the candidate, do you have a thought or two on who he should pick as lieutenant governor?
So as Johnny Mathis sang, it's not for me to say, but
I had to ask it. I had to do my due diligence and ask you that question because obviously you're from where the county executive is, and I think everyone's going to look to that. And I think it is going to be important, I think, to have a good lieutenant governor candidate because we saw with Lee Zeldin, who's obviously also from Long Island 4 years ago, he had Allison Esposito, and she was a strong campaigner, and a lot of people had pointed that out. And I think obviously, as you know, Kathy Hochul is picking a different lieutenant governor compared to Antonio Delgado. So on the other side of the aisle, what do you think about that in terms of how that all shapes up with Kathy Hochul and Antonio Delgado?
Let them fight, let them kill each other. But our county executive, Bruce Blakeman, is extremely bright. I did make some suggestions of a couple candidates that he should be picking from upstate. You need that balance. We're from Long Island. You need the upstate. We'll work hard for New York City, but we have to bring out the vote, which hasn't happened in upstate New York. Long Islanders come out. Upstaters have to come out. If we do that and we carry Staten Island, you will see an overwhelmingly large victory.
Yesterday,
you're going to have support in my community. I will be one of Bruce's big supporters, and I will push him in my community, Ballpark, Flatbush, Midwood, and whatever. We're going to push Bruce big time, and we're going to push Bruce in my Republican club as well as I'm one of the executive.
You're the vice
members,
president of the Brooklyn Tea Party.
But
yes.
I'm also executive committee member.
Yes.
And we have a district leader, Tishler, that was on the Brooklyn committee. So we will be. I know my chairman might not, but we will be behind Bruce Blakeman 100%.
I wanted to ask you, Assemblyman, on the news locally by you yesterday, Alexis Week had announced she's not running for re-election. What's your thoughts on that? Do you expect Republicans to hold that seat?
Yeah, definitely hold the seat. Alexis, wow, what a great leader, a great senator, a great person. If you look at her, like you'd think she's a high school girl. She's actually a grandmother.
Yeah, her son's a police officer, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, she looks like a kid, but she's obviously so accomplished. A massive loss for us, but we will certainly hold that seat. Not even a question. Huge loss for us. She's absolutely wonderful. Great legislator.
Well, I'm proud of you, Assemblyman.
Do you have any New Year's resolutions? I have to ask, because, we're New Year's Eve, and
us Jews don't do that, but go ahead.
I gotta still ask him. I mean, he's got constituents. Lighten it up for a minute.
My resolution is to convince at least one of my colleagues to start voting the right way on the other side of the aisle. That's my resolution, to drive them to insanity so they start doing the right thing.
Well, you've got a seat right next to you in Queens. That was Stacey Feferamato. She announced she's not running for re-election. I think that's a seat that the Republicans have a huge opportunity to pick up here on the other side of the Rockaways here.
Let's talk about that for a second. I like Stacey. We're friends. I like her a lot. You had a great candidate, Colonel Tom Sullivan.
We interviewed him. We actually interviewed him 2 years ago when he was running.
You know why he lost? You know why he lost? The Jews did the wrong thing. All of Far Rockaway voted for the Democrats.
I see that there's a primary right now on the Democratic side. There's Mike Scala and it's Pichach Osina. So right now, that would be a seat that I think probably is the Republicans' best pickup in the state assembly, maybe in the state this year.
Yes, unless the Jews again make a deal for a Hatzalah vehicle or some type of ambulance, and that's what happens. You're laughing, but that's what happens.
No, we know that. We know that. Just like when Hochul came in when she ran for governor, and she gave $14 million to Satma, $5 million to this one, and it was just a shame that they actually took her bribe, and we even allowed it to beat Lee Zeldin, which I don't even know. I thought we had it.
They asked me to speak at Landers College, and I did. I saw these boys walk in, political science class last year. They all walked in, shorts sticking out, stomach sticking out. I said, I do 263 straight push-ups at a time. I'm 3 times your age. I said, everybody stand up. When I stand up, you're all going to shake my hand. They lined up, shook my hand. Everyone, I said, now sit down. Every one of you gave me a soft, weak handshake. You're all 19 to 22 years old. We have to start building strong Jewish men. These weaklings in ethics and in physicality has to stop. And if we don't make that change, we're gonna have another Stacey Feferamato come in, and I like her a lot. But you know what? it's enough already. We need
Yeah,
some
and
Republicans.
considering in 22 she was actually losing the election, and then somehow they found like a dozen votes, and Sullivan lost by like, what was it, 12 votes or something like that, some crazy number.
They did the same thing to me.
I know, I remember.
I won by 1 vote, and then they found 20 votes after
Yeah,
you won.
against
But you know who I blame for this, Assemblyman? I blame the parents, because I had a lot of kids in my house. I've had a lot of grandchildren. I have a lot of nephews, nieces, and we taking people from jail. We take kids in off the street. Matter of fact, one kid that we took in for a couple years ago is just getting married now. And again, who's come along. But I blame the parents. There's a story that was told to me, and it's one of the greatest stories, and I always repeat it, that we were in the park, and the granddaughter asked, can I, we said we have to go home, and the granddaughter said to me, can I stay 5 more minutes? And we said, yeah, no problem, 5 more minutes. And then again, I got up and we said, let's go home. I remember I heard this from somebody else. So when she asked me again, 5 more minutes, I said, yeah, no problem, 5 more minutes. And the lady next to me says, you have a lot of patience. And I said to them, you know what? I said, my mother passed away. My father passed away when I was a little boy. I said, I wish I had 5 more minutes. They don't spend time with their children. They don't come home. And I work 14, 15, 16-hour days. And I still always found a way on Shabbos to take my kids to volunteer. I always made my kids go visit people in the hospital. I made them do special programs. I gave them allowances based on if work that they've done. Cool. Everybody in my house is to work. A lot of our parents today just shrug it off or let them pass. And it's not just the Jewish families, because a lot of the Jewish families are more stricter. I believe it's the more secular, modern people, and we're not that we're not tough. I don't want you to hit your kids, but you've got to be more sterner with them and punish them, and we're not doing that, and that's why they're all soft.
Too much affluence today. I would tell you, most of the kids in my neighborhood are being raised by housekeepers. There's where most of the problem is.
He's right. He's 100% right.
There was a kid in my granddaughter's class who didn't speak English. She only spoke Spanish because of the housekeeper. It also has to do with
well, that's certainly one thing. I wanted to, before we let you go, Assemblyman, and we're so honored to have you on here. And if you're out there, you can follow the Assemblyman on Instagram. You can go to the State Assembly website for the 20th District and look up Assemblyman Brown. With any issues that you have, please let him know. But if you had anything you wanted to say to the people out there, in anything that they could take away from any of the work you've done or anything that you look to accomplish coming up, what would it be?
Let's be bold and courageous and just start voting the right way. That's all it comes down to. We can talk. But as you said, we're about to swear in a communist into New York City mayoralty. So start voting the right way, people, so we don't have to have these tough conversations. We remember the times of Ronald Reagan when we had a different feeling of America. We were proud to be Americans, as we're proud to be Americans right now. But there was a different feeling to America. Tip O'Neill may have argued with Ronald Reagan, but at the end of the day, we were all Americans. It's very different today. If you're a Democrat today, you're doing the wrong thing 1,000 different ways. So switch parties, do the right thing, start fighting for good American values, and that'll translate itself to a better family life and a better way of life for all.
I think we have a very important race. I think just what he hit the nail on the head in that the governor's race is important because, with Mamdani coming in there, having a Republican governor would, I think, stunt a lot of the blows that we're going to deal with in New York City. I think it's very important to get a Republican in there for governor.
Assemblyman, I'm so honored that you came on our show, and I'm so, I'm telling you, a lot of your thoughts and ideas and what we talk about and we preach every single week, and we tell this to the people all the time. I hope when I come out to your neighborhood for a Shabbos, you still let me in your shul and have a kiddush with you, and don't say, "Oh, Heshy made fun of me," which I never did. You're a very good man. God bless you.
Stay by me.
And also, if you're out there, one more time, also, you can go to Zeb Brenner's website, which is also the Talk Line Radio Network. Also on Zeb's YouTube channel, you can see Ari and Anthony Unfiltered, and you can also, again, check that out. And also, the Assemblyman is on Instagram. You can go to his website from the State Assembly. Any constituent issues, anything, please let him know. And he represents the 20th District, and he is now running for re-election here coming up.
Yeah, the 20th District, right?
20th District.
We're going to tell our listeners viewers. I hope you enjoyed the Assemblyman from WSNR and WNEW. And what's that flower station?
WJPR, 1640
Thank you for
AM.
listening
Thank
to
you, Simon,
us.
and Happy New Year to you. Thank you for all you do for
Happy
us.
New Year, Assemblyman. Happy New Year. And don't, I might just bump into you. I'm broke. I could use a corned beef sandwich in one of your fancy delis.
Let's go out together. You're always welcome in my village.
Thank you, Assemblyman.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. And we want to say goodbye also one more time this year for our listeners on the Talk Line Radio Network, WJPR 1640 AM, WSNR flagship 620 AM, and also WNEW 1027 FM. Happy New Year. Thank you so much.
How the Assemblyman spoke? He's not like me.
He's not like you, Heshy.
I got you. He did it with more class, but he said it straight to the point. Stop being an idiot. Start voting Republican. Get out there and vote. And he screamed
Well,
at
I
the
think the
Jewish people
takeaway-
too.
I think
and he
that-
said to you, because a lot of people say the Jews are looking for the little pittance and they give away the big chunks. And
Right.
here's a man who fights for us.
Well-
and I was right all along in
Well,
this
I
assembly.
think that the takeaway from tonight is that he talked about where he is and that they have an operation electing Republican candidates, whereas in Brooklyn,
we
where
can have
you
the
are
same
part of,
operation. We just don't do it.
we don't have it because we don't have the right people in place. And that was one of the things he said, is that you don't have the right chairperson. And the chairperson in there right now, you may like him, you may be saying all the right
he
things.
was just elected, and I have
Yeah,
no
but
choice. I'm going to
he's-
try.
but he's
I'm
not
meeting-
the-
by
he's
way,
not the guy.
I'm going to be
He-
meeting with him after New
You
Year.
can meet with him. You can meet with him till you're blue in the face. But what he said, the Assemblyman, in his county, they raise millions of dollars and they have an
and
operation.
we can't even raise $1,000.
No, they're meeting
and
in the
I
same
told
place.
them I would
Yes.
help them, and still they're going for the little pittance.
Because
by the
that's-
way, the
because that's what he
Assemblyman
made.
was right about everything he said, except for one thing.
You tell us why you're always right.
No. I said everything he said, it was good tonight, except for one thing.
Well, he said that he liked Kalman Yeager.
Right, you
and
got that.
he's not going to be
wrong.
endorsing your campaign.
Well, I'm going to make him endorse my campaign. You're
Well,
gonna
we
see.
wanted him to come back on the show. We want to thank Zev Brenner for that opportunity. And we'd like to see more candidates come on the show. And also, if you're out there, justenoughheshy@gmail.com. Definitely let us. Also, Bob Trackman wanted to say hello.
Oh, hi, Bob.
Bob
He
was out
one
there.
of my donors for the food
Yes, Bob,
campaign.
Bob messaged me, wanted to say hi. We also have Tiger wanted to say we should recruit high schoolers for community service hours to volunteer.
We try. I try to do that all the time, but they come once, they come twice, and they run away, or they want money, and there's the whole objective of on Fridays now. It's a short Shabbos, so I deliver.
Very
I
short.
pick up we deliver a lot of packages. Our soup kitchen, our program.
Yep.
But on Friday, the Bikur Cholim, another organization I work for, makes me go to families. We go to like about 100 different families, but I go to 3 families. I pick up homemade cooked food, a whole meal, beautiful, for these older Holocaust survivors or older singles. It's like a Meals on Wheels. We pick it up from them. They give them soup, chicken, a whole bunch of things, and I deliver it to these old people by myself. So again, we're all busy running around, trying our best, and I'm happy that everybody donates their time and stuff. But a lot of those people, we have kids that we ask to do this, and they'll do it one weekend, 2 weekends, and then they disappear. And I need them to be consistent. If you noticed, I never take a week off. I never disappear from the show. I never run away. Now I went on vacation for 2 weeks, but even then, I always made sure to pick up my phones, take care of people, help people in the jails. Yes, I got to get to go to the pool, but
But I think obviously as we transition into 2026, because it's going to be a long year between our next shows, it's literally going to be a long year. But I mean, so what are you expecting that Mamdani will do? Because one of the things that we can
there's
talk
nothing
about.
I'm expecting. I already see what he's doing.
Well, there's something I do want to.
Like the Assemblyman said, he's putting every
There
turban-headed
actually
person in
is
power.
something that I want to talk about for a few more minutes that the Assemblyman can't do anything about, but we can here in New York City, is this whole thing which you've talked about, the Community Opportunity Purchase Act, which we know it did not, but here's the thing. Now, Adams vetoed this, and now it's going to come up to a vote once again.
They passed it.
It passed, but it didn't have a veto-proof majority. So Adams
doesn't make a difference. Right now, it's approved. That means the only way is that Mamdani
Adams
is the only
vetoed
one that,
it.
But Adams vetoed it, but it passed again now.
No, it only one time. So this is what I want to talk about. So Adams just vetoed it, only passed once. So now they have 30 days in the city council to decide what they want to do. Now they're 3 votes short of a veto-proof majority. So now there's a huge hurdle.
So if they vote for it again and it passes again?
It's not a veto-proof majority.
Again, but if it passes, nobody unveto.
But here's the catch. The city council speaker has the opportunity to either bring the bill back up or to table it.
Of course he's going to bring the bill back up.
But when you had that many Democrats vote against it, that's why this is an interesting dynamic. And
it looks like that COPA bill is going to pass. There's no questions about it. It's a terrible. And explain to everybody what the bill is. That you can't sell your house.
You can't sell. If you have a 3-family building or more, you can't sell it to a family member. You have to go to the city first or a nonprofit. That's the most
and
undemocratic
hold off the sale
thing.
For 6 months. Continue to pay your water, your taxes, your insurance, and interest.
But that's why I think you saw a number of Democrats vote against that. Now the big question is going to be, is this city council speaker, who they quote unquote said is a moderate, Julie Menin from the Upper East Side. Now we know a lot of landlords live in the Upper East Side. Yeah. This is going to be, and she did not vote on the bill. She did not vote. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year.
Play that music.
Play that music. Be safe. It'll be a long year between next episode. And thank you very much. And see you next week, everybody. Play that music.
He's not playing the music. Why?
Wednesday night, we're all in sight. 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight.